Hello, and welcome to Health and Fitness Redefined. I'm your host, Anthony Amen. Join me today as we take a dive into the world of health and fitness, where we're going to overcome adversity to pick the fact versus fiction and see health and fitness in a whole new light. We have an amazing guest for you guys today, and I mean absolutely amazing. He is just has an amazing personality. I'm excited to hear more about his life story. So without further ado, let me welcome to the show Dr. T. Dr. T, welcome to Health and Fitness Redefined. I'm excited to have you on.
I'm excited to be here. It's one name I'm not going to forget, that's for sure.
I don't think anyone else will ever forget. Oh, Anthony, it's a great name.
Yep.
So,
good choice.
Thank you. You too. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So I want to know about why you began into chiropractic and how your life kind of evolved from there. You have a great backstory, and I want you to tell our audience.
Well, chiropractic. I had no intention of being in the health field. Zero. What have I done besides that? Well, when I finally decided to get into it, I was herding goats. True story. So I had not planned on doing anything that had to do with health whatsoever, and I was in really extreme pain, and had been in pain for many, many years. And I had met this woman. She was my girlfriend, and we were leaving town going to Yosemite to go camping for the weekend. I thought, oh, great, going camping, fantastic. Carry a backpack. I barely feel my legs, and my little back had like 4 knives in it. And she wanted to become a doctor. So she was like, hey, we're going to swing by this health fair on the way out of town and see what's going on with all these doctors. I want to see what's new out there. I'm like, okay, sure, we'll swing by there. And I get there, and of course, I have to say, I just walked around. And I was like, oh, no, these people have no idea what they have. Nobody here can help me, because I'd already seen everybody. And there was one guy behind a curtain, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a Wizard of Oz. I'll give him a shot, right? And I could see he was doing some muscle testing, and so I put my name down. I walked around the court there one time and listened to everybody talking about what they're doing, and it was all the stuff I'd already seen, and just nothing had helped. And I really thought it was coming to a close. I didn't think I was going to have a life at all, really. Really, after that weekend, I was like, I need to really reconsider even being here on this planet. That's how bad it was. And so I finally got in to see this guy, and I walked behind the curtain. I could see he was doing muscle testing, so I held my arm up, and he says, hold on, you don't need this. What's going on? And I said, oh, Jesus. And I told him really quick, I couldn't feel my legs, couldn't feel my feet, pee my pants every now and then. Sometimes the other side would come out. I mean, it was bad. It was that bad. It just depended on what day it was. I'd laugh and pee.
Why did you get that kind of pain? What happened? Was it an event?
Well, I grew up on a farm. You do farm work like that, and you bale hay when you're 12, 13 years old. We had a lot of slip and falls, just a lot of injuries growing up on the farm. A few bicycle accidents, high school football, all these things just had many extreme injuries. And so yeah, it just kept going over time. It just kept getting worse and worse, and nothing ever made it better. I actually went through the Army like this. So when I'm in the Army, you're really strong, you're really fit, 190 pounds, a 6-foot, beefcake, just totally in pain. So it just was a progressive thing. And then my father's a chiropractor. My brother became a chiropractor. I lived in Santa Cruz, which is full of every known healer on the planet, and just none of it ever helped. And so this particular guy laid me on my side and did something no one else had ever done to me. And I got up from the table, and the lights came on, the sound came out, and, I don't know, you could call it whatever you want to call it, but it was a great awakening. It was absolutely off of this planet. I walked and floated around there for about 5 minutes and came back. I said, what was that? And he said, well, your psoas muscle was absolutely welded and locked down to your autonomic chain, which is where all your lumbar plexus come out of your spine. And that your autonomic chain is your autonomic nervous system. It controls all the stuff you don't really think about on a daily basis. So it was a muscle that was so spasmed and injured, it just locked everything down. And I'd had that muscle worked on with other people. He just had the right technique to have that released. So long story short, I came back from that, did that 50-mile hike, and came back, and I started seeing him a few times. And about the 4th time I saw him, And I was 80% pain free. But about the fourth time I saw him, he says, Tony, I've known you for what, 6 months now, and you've had 5 jobs in 6 months. You're just a curious cat. You'll never ever figure out the human body. Let me just tell you that right now. I said, oh well, school and all that. Well, you're only 33. You ought to start studying the human body. Start with massage, and you can do the work that I taught you. And so that's where I started. I became a massage therapist and learned all these advanced muscle techniques. And after a while, I just finally woke up one morning, and it was very clear that I needed to go to the school and become a chiropractor.
So your family did it already, and you just took this, and it took you that kind of awakening to see this guy eventually move forward with it.
Yeah, I had absolutely no interest in it. And really, school has always been really boring to me. I was a daydreamer. I liked skipping school more than I liked attending it. And so, I just, uh, just growing up where I grew up, I just never, I was, always had bad grades. I was a lot better on a tractor than I was in school. I was better on a football field than I was in school. And so I just really thought I couldn't get through college. I was never told I could go to college. It was never, expressed to me that I had a single brain at all, when in fact I have 2 or 3 up there somewhere. Um, so long story short, I go to school, and I'm thinking I'm going to be an adjust. I'm going to be doing adjusting like most chiropractors. I mean, it's a very powerful field. It's very it has a lot of great philosophy, and it works. It works for a lot of stuff. But as soon as I'm in school, I get drawn down towards this other pathway that takes me into the energetic side of it all. And I think the first month I took a class from this 92-year-old guy. This was in 2000, 2098 or something like that. And there's this 92-year-old guy, and I walk up at break. I'm like, "Hey, Doc, I got a quick question for you." And he goes, "Hold on." There's this all concerned look in his eye, and he reaches down, and he goes like this. And he looks down, and he goes like that. And he goes, "Oh, what was your question?" And I said, "What the hell was that?" And he says, "Oh, that was Daisy in Kentucky. She called me this morning. She's having some heart murmurs. I just thought I'd fix it for her." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you later, Doc. Have a good day." So, what was your question? So, don't worry about it. It doesn't really matter. And I ran out of there like a little boy. I was terrified. I just couldn't even begin to wrap my mind around it. I just thought, this guy's nuts. And most of the stuff he was teaching in the morning, I was like, okay, this is pretty crazy stuff. And about a week or so later, I do another seminar, and there's a guy sitting in the corner. He's working on his hand. He's doing some kind of weird thing. I kind of walk, "You working on somebody somewhere else?" And he says, "Yeah, don't tell anybody." And this was a real doctory, real kind of a stuffy seminar, real doctor seminar, And so he's like, "Yeah, just don't tell anybody." I'm like, well, I caught him later on. I said, "What the heck are you doing exactly?" He said, "Well, I see it, and it happens. It just starts happening." And so I took that back to my office, because I was practicing as I was in chiropractic college, because I already had a massage certificate with advanced muscle techniques. Mostly athletes. I had a lot of athletes back then. Really great work for physical stuff. And this guy who I'd been working on comes in. He says, he's just as white as a ghost. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He says, "Oh, I got to get on a plane tonight. Hopefully to fly back to Dallas. My mom's in the hospital. They're looking for to do a heart transplant on her. They can't do a quadruple bypass. There's so much damage, so much clogging." And I said, "Well, there's this little thing supposedly that we can do." And he was like, "Really? I've never heard of that." I said, "Yeah, I really haven't either. Never done it." And so we tried it, and we did it. And she got up and walked out of that hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning, about 4 hours later.
Wow.
Unbelievable. That's what happened. And she came out to Los Angeles, I don't know, a week or so later. And I think I treated her about 4 times after that. And she left, and she came back about 2 months later. And she comes into my office door. I was working on my house at the time, walks down the stairs with him, and they come in. I looked to my little window. I'm like, I didn't know he had a sister. I opened up the door. "Hey, Charlie, you didn't tell me you had a sister." And Susan says, "Why, Tony, you dirty dog. It's me, Susan." And she had lost 25, 30 years off her life. She looked like a completely different person. I mean, it was just it really opened up my eyes to what I had just started down that road. So I was just getting into this energy side of things. And so it was pretty neat to see.
So it's just, you kind of stumbled upon it, right?
Absolutely. But there is no stumbling on anything, as you know. That guy, the chiropractor at that health fair, Dr. Collins. Uh, you know, I mean, something somehow my girlfriend at the time saw this health fair at the last minute. I didn't even want to go. I got there. I was very negative. I don't have any problem admitting that. I was like, geez, I've already seen half these people in here, and stumbling onto things, we don't stumble a whole lot. There's, I believe most of it is angelic interference, whether we can wrap our minds around that or not. But we've all had those experiences, and I'm sure everyone listening on your podcast has had those experiences where, this person showed up, and gosh, he was an angel. It was like an angelic interference. I shouldn't call it interference. I should call it, you know, you know, a touchdown. I don't know what you would call it. Coherence.
Explain that a little more. What is it?
Well, you mean like the idea of angelic coherence, or
Yeah.
yeah? Well, I'm sure. Well, you've experienced it. I mentioned earlier that I'd heard you on that podcast where you had that. You had your accident where you hit your head really bad in the ice, and it sounds like you've had a number of angelic coherences, experiences since that time to help get you on track. That may have been one. That accident could have been caused by. I mean, it's the most benign accidents. Those aren't accidents. Those are things that change the direction of our life. And many times, I mean, I believe that those are angels interfering with us and pushing us towards things. I skip a lot of things, a lot of experiences that I've gone through that I'm putting into this book I'm almost done with. But one of them was I had a motorcycle accident, a really vicious one. And it was shortly after that when I woke up and the voice in my head said, "You're going to school. You're going to school now." And so, was that? I mean, this woman looked at me. I always make a joke about it. Sorry, my phone rang. I always make a joke about it. I met Satan. Her name was Helen, and she's 82 years old, driving an Oldsmobile. And, she looked at me right in the eyes and punched her car and ran right over me, basically. And I jumped off my motorcycle. My handlebars hit me on the right below the femur head, which if it hit my femur head, it would have shattered my hips. May never have walked again. I don't know. But it threw me 2 stories high and over the length of a building, about 50, 60 feet. I had a seizure. I landed on my head. I bounced around, flopped around for a while. Smoke was coming off me. When I came to and I opened my eyes and I got 20 people standing around me in a circle, and it's, "Oh my God, he's alive." But there was an angel there. The moral of the story is this guy grabs a hold of me. He says, "Son, you're going to replay this accident 1,000 times in your mind. But let me tell you something. I was right behind you. You saved your ass. You did everything you could to avoid that accident, and she just didn't give you a second. And so you just let it all go. Don't let this ever stick around. You'll ever let this bother you." And I dreamed about it. And when you have trauma like that, you relive it if you can remember it, which you don't remember a lot of yours, but
I got a crazy story for you. I'm going to tell you right now because this is just like not personal. It's not a personal story. It's a story that happened to a friend of mine one day. We're 18, 19 at the time. And he comes over and he's like, "I just got into a car accident yesterday." I was like, "You look fine. What are you talking about?" Like, what happened? He said he was driving down the highway. He was in a red pickup truck with a friend going to work. And he got slammed by this car behind him that must have been going over 100. Turns out the person driving the car that hit them from behind died behind the wheel. So the person died with their foot on the accelerator, slammed into their truck. Their truck spun around 6 times, hit a pole. The pole caused their car to flip onto the side, and then the pole fell on their car. So they got stuck in the truck. This guy saw the whole accident, gets out of his car, comes over to them, was able to shimmy the pole off their door to get them both out. And the guy's name was Angel.
of course, that's what
Swear
I'm
to
talking
God.
about. Oh,
And
I know. I totally
all
believe
he
you.
had was some minor injuries, like little glass. That's it. His friend walked basically clear out of that. That story blew my mind. I was like, got hit by a dead
That
person.
that is exactly what I'm talking about, and sometimes we'll get upset. Oh yeah, I got stopped by a cop, and well, then I hit a traffic jam, and there was a crazy accident up the road. I mean, we just don't know. And I mean, what a great story, and of course the guy's name is Angel. I thought you were going to say Michael or Gabriel or any of the other, but he's just Angel, so he's an unknown angel, right? But yeah, is it, and I think, as I share some of these stories with people, everybody has had an angelic interference. I call it interference because someone gave them a piece of advice, something happened to them that shifted their direction of their life. And I mean, I've been fortunate to have had a few of these experiences in my life, and I'm glad. I think I'm over them. I don't think I'm going to be having too many more of them, other than working with them now. And so, now that's all I do I mean, every now and then I'll use some of my chiropractic stuff, but 90% of what I do now is all angelic direction, and having the angels do the work. It still helps to have the knowledge I have, all the anatomy and physiology, but then I'm able to tell them and ask them kindly what I want done in the human body, and they do the work.
It's interesting you bring that up, and it's I spoke about this on a previous episode, and it was the one right before this, and the guy was telling like there's no such thing as coincidences, and it's like everything happens for a reason, and there's always purpose. Like I was just before we filming this podcast, it'll blow your mind for a second, rewriting my bio because my bio was very, this is an accident that happened, this is how I did it. And I'm rewording it so it sounds more like these weren't adversities in my life. Instead, these were blessings of things that happened in my life to get me where I am today. Because without them, I wouldn't be here. So I literally just finished writing that. I can't make this up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's how it works. And again, I know everybody listening we all have these common experiences. You'll hear these things and we kind of take them with a grain of salt, like, oh, we're all one, we all have had these things. And some people have had more than others, but even the ones who haven't had as much as others still have had them. And people always ask me, well, tell me more about this. We're all one. What do you think about that? And I say, well, think about somebody you love and care about. Or have you ever thought about somebody you love or care about? And did they called you within a week, right? And everyone says yes. Everyone says yes.
Minutes.
Exactly. Minutes. And we do that sometimes in these trainings I'm doing. Sometimes we'll do that. I'll just do it as an experiment. And then the next morning, 10 of 20 people will say, I don't believe it. I got email from that person. I don't believe them. That's consciousness. And that explains how we all are one and how we all are connected. And that's the system that I use to do all this remote work I do now. I mean, again, it was kind of fun today. I had 3 babies, 1 family. They were all sick. It was kind of fun. Oh, hey, I get to see somebody. It gets a little lonely up here in the hill doing remote work. But it's just amazing to have these understandings of how the universe works and our universe and consciousness, because it gives a meaning to our experiences. And it's like the accident your friend was in, and having that guy named Angel come by. It's just like, yeah, they didn't even get hurt, and somebody died in that. I mean, it's hard to wrap your mind around. The only way you can wrap your mind around it is be like, well, there's something bigger working there.
What do you tell the skeptics? Because obviously you're gonna have the people where it's, oh, it doesn't make sense. How can you say that? There's no such thing. What's your response to those people?
uh, Seeing is believing. And so I'll usually just show them something and let them just go, okay, that's impossible. And let them ponder on it. I don't have much time these days for skeptics because there's so many people who are ready for this kind of healing. And we're moving, the human body is changing. It's changed. I mean, we have changed completely. You're not your mother or father. So what worked for them isn't going to do the same for you. And I'm sure that we're going to say the same thing for the next generation. And so with skeptics, it's been really fun doing these trainings, because even in these trainings, people pay me money. They fly out here, they stay in a hotel, they have to jump through all these loops to come to this training, and they still have that disbelief. And I just love disproving that, or at least putting the shock factor into it, because another one of my sayings is seeing is believing. And like at this last seminar we had a few months ago, we had there was somebody there that had 35 years of ankle pain from a track injury in high school. And I think it was about noon the first day, 4 hours in, I'll do my training. And I'll say, okay, whoever it was, Rosie, I want you to fix that ankle over there on the far side of the room, Steve's ankle. And she's, well, just do what I already showed you. Just trust it. Just try it. And she'll do it. And I'll say, okay, could you get up, Steve, and let us know? And he just stands up and, well, it's gone. And everyone says the same thing. Really? Total disbelief. Really? It's gone? Steve, would you mind walking out in the front of the class, jump up and down for me, please? Steve walks over in front of the class, jumps up and down. Could you tell everyone how much pain is in there? I mean, this guy could hardly walk. He could barely walk. That's how much pain he had. And that's why I picked him. So having everyone see that starts changing all that, because we're programmed to not believe any of this stuff, to be a skeptic. And I'm the biggest skeptic there is. And so in the trainings, that's kind of, I really like that concept of seeing is believing, and seeing it right away. Having people who have never done this work do this right away is really, it changes the mindset and really lets people start diving into. And because you obviously have to have some belief in this. I mean, you can't not believe in the angelic realm and ask an angel to help you, help somebody. It's just not going to work. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of the seeing is believing in the class, and the skeptics, I just don't have a lot of time for. There's so many people that need help. I mean, we are such a sick society. Do you know anyone who doesn't have stuff? Do you?
I'm in the wrong industry for that question.
Yeah, you're in the health industry, but even you probably, everybody has something. They come to your gym. Everybody has something. Yeah, everybody has something. But they come in with knee braces on. Hey, and God bless them. They're out there doing their stuff. I did the same thing. I'm out throwing a disc with a broken leg. I mean, that's me. I'm not going to let any of this stuff slow me down. But who doesn't have something in our world today? I mean, it's there's a combination of reasons: our diet, our programming, of our the poisons in the environment. Just there's so many reasons for all this illness that's around us, and so we're doing some things here now that can change a lot of that, and change them quickly in seconds, and it's really exciting to bring that forward and be able to train that to people now.
My question is, I'm going to try to word this the way I want to, but you talk about this angelic presence, and my mind always goes straight to religion. Is there a connection in there, or is it something that's completely different?
Well, it's, angels are found throughout religion. I mean, obviously they're found throughout religion. And so there must be something. I mean, they're God's helpers. I don't, I'm not, people will say, well, you talk to the angels, right? I mean, you're an angelic healer. No, they're in a different realm than the ones I work with. We have figured out a way to access consciousness and ask questions through consciousness to figure out what's going on with someone. And then we ask for help from the angelic realm to do the work. That's how my work, the work that I'm sharing, does. But you can look through all the religions, clear back to the first recorded religions, way, way, way back. They talk about God's helpers and angels. So I'm definitely not a religion. I'm not a spiritual teacher. Spirituality is just the idea that there's something greater than myself that's kind of in charge of all this, and that there's more to being human than a sensory experience, which I believe there is. If you're walking around and doing bad things and bad things happen to you, that's kind of the law of nature. People call it karma. But to answer your question, angels are part of every religion. I think just about every religion has an angelic reference in it somewhere of it. And if it isn't in with the word, it's something close.
Gotcha.
It's like you know what I mean. So
access to the spirit realm, so we could say.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. So I'm going to ask you to give me an example to do a little demo for us, because I think that'd be something cool for everyone to see and hear if you're listening or watching on YouTube. What do you say? You down?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. They're always down.
All right. So how do we start this? I'm going to leave the balls in your
Well,
court.
how about you? You got anything residual in your body that you're just like, God, I just can't believe that's still around. There's some pain in this knuckle. There's an ankle in my foot or a pain in my, wherever. You got anything like that going on?
Oh yeah, man. I work out for a living.
Yeah, well, I figured that, right? So, okay,
I have I have ITB syndrome on my right leg. Chronic
say it again.
ITB syndrome. My IT band is super locked out and has been for about 7 months.
Oh, how about your shoulders?
So my shoulders, I got my traps are always tight.
Yeah, so they're tight. You get tenderness when you work out.
No, when I work out, it feels better. That's why I
Oh,
work
it feels
out.
better when you work out. So let's just have you stand up really quick. We'll do this really fast.
And
Sorry. Yeah, stand because
okay.
I see you got a few things going on. So if you just kind of, maybe just put a stretch on your shoulders, like, you cross your arms and just pull your arms apart and stop them. Is it tender in there at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some soreness in there. What if you rub on your hips? You come down to your hip bone. You just rub around your hip, tender on the IT side, the IT band side, right on the bone. Get right on the bone. Is it tender?
Oh yeah, that whole IT band is.
That whole thing is tender. Yeah. Do your other side too. I see it all over. You got it all over the place.
That one's not bad.
Not too bad. Okay. Okay. So mostly on your right side, and with the shoulders, was it both sides?
Yeah, it's both sides. It's from the neck
Yeah.
and the knee.
Oh yeah, yeah. And how about the neck? If you look straight down with your neck, is that tender?
Not too bad. Down's not
Okay.
bad.
What if you look straight up? Tender?
Little tight.
Little tight, more tight than tender?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then look to your right.
Tight. Obviously.
Okay. More tight than tender. And left.
Super tight.
Super tight. Okay, so with your neck, you're like, oh, it's tight, it's tight. My traps are tight, and then your shoulders, like, yeah. When I put resistance on them, yeah, there's a little bit of tenderness in there, and definitely a lot of tenderness around your IT band, around the head of your femur, where the IT band wraps around into the tensor fasciolata, if I remember right. I start to lose my memory of these all the
You're
muscles
right.
these days. So what I'm finding is there's two different things for you. One is something that causes stiffness in your body, and the other thing that can cause pain, right? So we'll start with the stiffness stuff because stiffness comes before pain, and so we want to kind of clear some of that out of there, and it's right there. It's all through your the discs in your neck, the what the hell are they called? Joints of Luschka. So I'm going to have you just take your head down and then look up towards the ceiling. Up, down again, and look back up. And then look left and right one time. Yep, turn your head. There you go. How's that feeling now? Retest it all.
Still tight.
Still tight. Is there any change at all?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm full of shit. Let's let's just try a little something different here. And try it again.
Slightly better up. Everything else is the same.
Okay, so definitely better up, but everything else is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me just get a little more here. Yeah, recheck looking left and right again. And as you check looking left and right, I'm treating it, and sometimes that helps loosen it up as you're doing that. And look right and left one more time.
10%
How's that
better.
feeling? How's that feeling now? Yeah. Do it one more time to check it. I'm not doing anything now. Check it again.
It's like 10% better.
Okay, that's not enough. We'll come back to that. So
We'll
let's
come
look
back to it.
further. Yeah,
It's
10% is not
it's an
enough for me.
injury that's 10 years in the making. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get it. But it has to come off in layers. Things come off in layers, and so that's the first layer. So we'll come back and look at that in a second.
I got him working on the show, guys. A
That's
plug.
okay. I'll be working for hours after this. I worked for hours this morning, and we'll do more later. But let's see without that iliotibial band. That sucks when you don't have that working very well. So let's have you stand up. I'm going to need you to. I'll have you stand. You'll do like this number. You'll take your leg up and down, just so we get some motion in there while I'm treating this.
All right, the legs coming up and down.
Yeah, just move it up and down a few times. How's that feeling? Yeah, so just rub right on that head like you did the first time. Yeah, recheck it.
Can you walk us through with what you're doing while we do it for the people listening?
Yeah, I'm basically bringing in angels, and I'm matching frequencies that I'm finding are pathogens that are inside that joint. And so rub right on that head again for me, right on that femur head. How's that feel now? You should be a little further forward, right? Go right where if you take a look here, right where your femur comes up, right where it plugs into your hip bone. That's your femur head. Get right on there, rub straight up and down.
Yeah.
How's that feeling now?
A little looser.
How about the tenderness?
Like out of 10, it's like a 5.
Do you remember what it was when we started?
6, 7.
Okay, 6, 7. So we got 20%. Say that's not enough. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll pull up a diagram to help me do my focus a little bit more. So just have you just walk over to your doorway and walk back to the camera. Now re-rub that again.
A little looser.
How about the pain?
A little better. Tight, but the pain's better.
So I'm gonna have you walk over to the doorway again. I'm gonna do your whole body tightness and all your muscles, because you keep talking about tightness more so than pain. And I'm just gonna do it. So just walk to the door and back one more time. So look up and down, left and right with your head. Let's check your head first, see how that feels now.
Definitely looser.
And then rub on that femur head again.
It's got more play.
We didn't rub right on the iliotibial band. We should do that. I'm sorry. We should have had you rub right on it. So
I'm rubbing on it.
Yeah, you're rubbing on. How's it feel?
A little looser.
Looser. How about the tenderness?
Less. It's actually less now.
Well, there's a lot of you have a lot of anchored emotion that I'm not going to get into to help the healing right now. Actually, let's just do a little tiny bit, because I think that's going to really help you.
All right, I'm down.
Okay, so I'm just going to have you close your eyes and just imagine what it would feel like to totally let go of the past. what it would feel like to just release yourself. Just imagine what it would feel like to be completely assured and certain and confident. It's kind of like sitting in that chair, what that support feels like, being strong and supported and safe. And just imagine again, totally freed from the past, where uh, you know, bad relationships, stressors, arguments, just things that have gone on in life just aren't there anymore. And you could literally close the door on them, erase them off a chalkboard, do whatever you want to with them, and instead have this peace of mind roll in that you experience by just bringing to mind uh, feeling safe and secure and being supported in that chair. Just it's just a simple thing that goes on that allows your mind and body to get quiet and calm. And take a little breath in and a little breath out. And then let's have you check everything again.
I almost fell asleep. That was relaxing.
That's angels, man. That's angels. I talk to you so your mind has something to follow, but it's all angels. I'm just asking the angels to do the work and restore vibrancy in tissues and correct your nervous system, kill pathogens, get rid of those stiffness bugs. And those are all probably left over from your accident, even all these years later. It's been years now, right?
Yeah, it's been 2010 was 11 years.
Yeah, so that's also why it's a little harder for us to get some of this stuff to move. So it's been quite a while. We had it quite a while, but it should feel different.
I got to say one thing just to talk about something I really like full heartedly believe in. And it's just for those listening too. When we stress and when we hold on to things, and that is stressed us, even though we pretend it doesn't bother us, that's when we end up getting sick. And there's that relationship between frequencies in your brain to how you feel, regardless of how much of this or how little or much you believe in. If I were to work 10 hours a day and stress out, I get sick.
Yeah.
Like you're way more prone. Your immune system is just not working the way it should be working. So there has to be a correlation to stressors and pain throughout the body, because pain is just inflammation. Like that's your body's inflammation response over myofascial tissue. So it's just there's got to be a relationship, and that's why I kind of like what you're doing, because there is a connection.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you're stressed and when we're under, whether it's grief or anger or fear, any of those emotions, you are releasing chemicals. Those are releasing chemicals into your bloodstream. If it's fear, your adrenals are pumping crazy. If it's anger, your liver is releasing chemicals that many aren't even found or talked about by science. Most of them aren't. And then we have other things that come in and drive that, and these are these pathogens. There's the whole group of pathogens out there called cell wall deficient forms that no one even will talk about. Why? Because we don't have any drugs for them. But there's whole books written on them, and they're studied quite well by independent researchers. And that's what I'm finding in you. That's what I'm finding was making you stiff, and I'm finding that was what was creating some of that tension in your ITB band. And so now that we've done that, this little bit of work we've done, and as I'm talking to you, I'm just using the angels to restore the vibrancy. That there's very specific things that I find that they are able to do, and so I'm holding that intention for them to do that while I'm talking to you. If I don't talk to you, your conscious mind goes, well, this is stupid. What the hell is going on here? And I could even just talk to you. Okay, we're going to go out for lunch and we're going to drive down the street and eat at Bigga, and Bigga's going to have a hamburger. The conscious mind needs something to pay attention to, or it won't let the angels do the work. It's kind of like the doubters. They come in. Oh, no, you're not getting in here. No way. Don't talk. I don't want. And so let's have you recheck everything again and just see if there's more changes or what happened with that little tiny bit of emotional work we did.
I gotta say, out of everything, the thing that I feel the most is just internal, like release. The thinking about, I just feel just that breath out. That was the biggest impact on me. I gotta like that really taking that mind and just kind of walking away from things. It really
Yeah.
pushes you forward, which is why I
Well,
was
yeah, no,
talking to
I get, I start doing this work, I get goosebumps because what's happening is they come in and they release you from some of the stuff that your mind can go through really fast. It's all subconscious, it's all in there. And so again, so I talk to the conscious mind, but what's happening is these angels come in and cleanse the subconscious and they cleanse the spirit. And now that you have that de-stress out of the inside of the body, your immune system is going to work better. Your muscular system, your nervous system is going to work better. All of it's going to work better. And 9 times, I expect 100% resolution of all of these things. Before you leave my office in 20 minutes, I would expect 100% resolution. Really fast, because that's how fast they work, and that's how fast this work usually works. So proof is in the pudding. We have to see it and have it. Once you see it and once you experience it, things just start unraveling really fast.
something worth trying, all about the power of the mind. And I really appreciate it. And I want to start wrapping this up because we went off like we knew we would. We both love talking. It's the Anthony gene.
Genius.
Yeah. So wrap this up for us. Give us that one last bit of take home message for everyone listening right now.
Well, I think my website is ahumanengineer.com. A is in Adam, humanengineer.com. And my take on everything is whatever you do in life, do the best at it that you can and have fun doing it. Doesn't matter if you're shoveling shit. Have fun doing it. Turn it into a game. The more fun we have in this short time that we're here, the more joy we bring to the planet. And if we bring joy, it rubs off. People around us feel that, and people start resonating with that field of joy and fun. What else is there? There really isn't much more fun. There isn't much more than love and fun and joy, and it's contagious. Love, of course, is the most important thing in life. And I think the more we can hold those vibrations, the healthier and happier we'll be, regardless of what we're doing.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this once before in a previous show, and I'm actually going to make this a task this week for all of our listeners because I love that what you just said. Before you listen to next week's episode, that means every single one of you, I want you to go give somebody else an out of the blue compliment of something they've done for you. I did that today. I stopped in somewhere. I was like, I know you weren't expecting me here. I just wanted to say thank you. And then I left. That's all there was to it, because when we get those, we feel amazing and you just feel great. So instead of just taking them, we need to start giving them. So assigning it, I think, is the best way to bring forward better thoughts and feeling better, because now you're showing people you appreciate them. Pass it on, especially since we're in December.
Absolutely. Amen. Great task for people to do. Nothing better than helping people.
I appreciate it. Last question. Where can people find you, get a hold of you, all that fun stuff? Lay it all down.
It's all ahumanengineer.com. We're doing these trainings now. I'm doing one, I think, in March of this year. Everything's on that website. We're doing these programs where, if you haven't had success with other people getting out of pain or getting out of your disease or all the, what the angels really work well with is all the crazy stuff that no one can, like the person with 35 years of ankle pain. He heard it in high school. These are the sorts of things that I can fix really fast. We're doing these programs. They're amazing. They're basically, it's 1 hour a week for 4 weeks, and it's we have a money back guarantee. After the first hour, you don't like it, you get your money back. And there's not many people out there doing that kind of thing. And so that's how confident I am that we can move these things. And even with you, maybe we didn't get to 100% right here, right now. But I think over the next few days, it's all going to start unraveling. You're going to be like, something has changed. And you'll probably forget we had this conversation, and that's okay too. Actually, you'll probably send me a check in a few days.
Yeah, it's in the mail.
Yeah. Not a rubber one either, Anthony. I've done that before. So yeah, that's where I'm at, ahumanengineer.com. Check it out. We got these programs we're doing to help people with their healing. I can't really take any more clients. I have so many one-on-one people now that we've decided to do these groups again. I did them a few years ago. They were extremely successful. we just weren't very internet savvy, and now we have a team doing all the internet stuff. And really, all I do is the work. The classes are absolutely amazing. If you're interested in healing, skip all the baloney that's out there. Come and take my class. You'll be shocked. It's amazing work we're doing. So that's about it.
I love it. And thank you guys for joining us on this week's episode of Health and Fitness Redefined. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and join us next week as we dive deeper into this ever-changing field. And remember, fitness is a journey, not a destination. Until next time.